Trojan Sports Now.
Hello and welcome to Trojan Sports Now. I'm Ryan Renfro, and today we are joined by senior offensive lineman Dalton Bennett. Dalton, man, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for inviting me.
Let's jump right into your high school career. You graduated from Mariana High School, and you weren't just a one-sport athlete. You also played baseball and basketball, and you ran track as well. So out of all of those sports, what kind of attracted you to football?
Well, growing up, I always wanted to, play football. Football was something that was not offered, in Grand Ridge as a recreational sport. You had to kind of cross city limits and move into Sneeze for that, but it was never offered at Grand Ridge. And baseball and basketball, that was the big sports at that school. And growing up, I love sports, everything about it, the competition, the camaraderie. Just it was a lifestyle that I enjoyed. And whenever I got to a situation where I was able to play football, I was in third grade. And my mom told me, she said, as long as your grades are good on your report card, you can play. Mm-hmm. And, man, I brought back a C on it, so I couldn't play. And I think that stuck with me the most. And, finishing out in Grand Ridge, it was a school that didn't have enough people, enough students to keep open past ninth grade. And they did a consolidation of the three schools that were, right beside each other in Jackson County. I wound up going to Sneeze High School for 9th and 10th grade. And, ninth grade, I kind of thought about it and, joined the team, but, I wasn't too good at it. I had to learn the majority of the ropes, but, I really fell into it, and I just fell in love with the game. I fell in love with the intensity, the physicality of it, and I was a big guy.
Yeah, that obviously helps out a little bit. And, you not only played on the offensive side of the ball, but you also played on the defensive side of the ball. So, and you recorded 87 tackles, I think I have here, 87 tackles as a junior and 9 sacks. That's pretty impressive as a junior. So, with that being said, why do you think you ended up on the offensive side of the ball?
Well, it was Coach Slarman, John Slarman, and he recruited me, him and Coach Wasden. And Coach Wasden's still here at Troy. And, I think as a college, coach going to watch high school athletes, you look for a guy that's versatile enough to play both sides of the ball, and then with that, a guy that you think you can put some size on and, who can, I guess, not to take anything away from defensive line, but a little bit smarter than your average defensive lineman. That's kind of how we joke about in the locker room. Offense you got to think, defense you got to do. And, I think it's just being versatile. That's what they look for the most, and a guy with size and a guy that they think is going to develop and, they can help develop. And, defense, you play it in high school so you can hear your name called on Friday nights. After you make a tackle, the big play, you're very, I guess, lack of a better word, selfish in high school, and you want to play everything and do everything. And but I enjoyed defense every snap that I got. And as a matter of fact, Tommy Stevens, he's guy graduated last year. We both come to Troy our 2010 graduating year, and I wound up gray shirting and red shirt, and he just red shirted. So, and me and him both played, defensive end in high school as well as offensive line. And like I say, I enjoyed it, but, I don't think I miss it.
Yeah. So, with so much experience on offense and defense, and then also with experience and talent in baseball, basketball, and track and field, do you think when it comes to recruitment and where you're going to go to school for college, did that sort of play, having skills in all of those sports play a big role in your recruitment?
Definitely. The coaches want to look for a guy that's versatile, that is a multifaceted athlete. If you play basketball, they assume you've got good feet work, good technique. If you play baseball, they assume you're flexible, you can run, you're quick. With track, I didn't run in track. I did shot put and discus. I guess it was something I did, just to try and keep busy. But I definitely think they look for that. The more sports you play, the more versatile you are, and the different, I guess, abilities needed for each different sport. And that just plays in, a big part of recruiting. And I guess they look for the guys like that. I definitely think it was a big part of it.
Aside from football, what was your favorite sport to play?
Because
I know you love
sports.
sports.
It's tough. I would say football and then basketball. A lot of my really close buddies played basketball. And I think, I enjoyed it more just being around them than playing it, But I enjoyed it. I was a four-tech post, and Yeah, I think it goes football, basketball, then baseball, and then track.
What position in baseball did you play?
Right field and first base.
You played right field and first base. Not bad. Cool, man. All right, so let's jump into your freshman year here at Troy.
Gotcha.
You were obviously, you said you gray shirted and red shirted, correct? But you played in all 12 games on the offensive line and special teams. So what was it like to come in your freshman year here with the Troy football program and have as much of an impact that you had?
Well, it was an honor, and it was a big, I guess, awakening for me that I can contribute to a team, and that I, was given the opportunity to come in and, from the chance that, the coaches gave me in recruiting me and offering me a scholarship here, just as quick a turnaround, as I was able to make to give, my contribution to the team. I feel like I'm a team player, and I don't want to brag or nothing about that, but, I would rather do what I can to help the team versus, anything to help myself, and just such quick impact. I think my first rep was on Punt Shield, and that's kind of tough. You play a big, you got 2 A-gaps rushing, 3 guys, 260 plus pounds, and their job is to come blow you up so they can maybe block a punt. That's pretty intimidating. Coming out and I think it was Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee had the biggest boys to rush a Punt Shield, and that sticks out to me. I had a ringer coming out of that one.
I don't know how you do it, man. I would just fall to the ground. I'd walk off the field. But once again, this season, though, with all of that being said, you're a senior now. You've really developed into the kind of leader that Troy needs on the football team, on the field and off the field. More of a leader than you have in the past. You've just continually developed. And now with this season, like here, how have you enjoyed being that leader for these young guys on this team, on this offensive line?
It's a blessing, and I do want to start off, and I'm not the only guy. I want to give, I could sit here and name off, a dozen people, if not more, that are all, just as much significant, in that leadership role as I am, and maybe some of them even more. Just a few guys to name off, Tony Garcia, Tyler Roberts, Montrese Kitchens. Josh Burnham is a guy who's always been a hard worker. There's just multiple guys out there, in each individual position group, that play just as big a role as I do. And me, my tiny group of, 12 to 15 offensive linemen, it's a blessing for, them to, look up to me, I guess, and for me to be in a situation where I am, and I really wouldn't have any kind of pull or I just couldn't do it on my own. And like I said, Tony Garcia is another guy. He's a junior this year, a guy for everybody to watch out for. He's going to have a breakout the rest of the season. I think his senior year next year he's going to play very well, and he's another guy who has worked hard, just to earn that spot as a leader, especially his junior year. And like I said, it's just a blessing. It's awesome to be looked up to like that, and I guess try to be a mentor for some of the younger guys, and anything that I can help them with from what I've learned over the years here is always nice. To have a guy come up and ask, hey, what's a teacher I should take for biology or something like that on their first or second semester here. It's little perks like that. It's awesome.
Awesome, man. Well, take us inside the mind of a football player on a Saturday night. What's it like? You seem pretty comfortable under these bright lights, but under the bright lights of a football field, what's it like to walk out with your team and, in front of a home crowd this Saturday? Just take us inside the feeling that you get.
Well, I try not to throw up every Saturday. For a while I couldn't help it, and it's not from anything you ate. It's just the nerves, the anxiousness, of just wanting to get out there, wanting to do well, and wanting to win. But man, it starts off, wake up, usually 8:30, 8:45. We go through breakfast, meetings, walkthroughs, and we'll go back and we'll have a little bit of downtime to think about it, go over our playbooks, and visualize everything that we're going to wind up doing, and just visualizing the plays that we're going to run and winning them. There's a little thing, it's destiny favors the prepared. We take Saturdays to finish our preparation and finalize everything that needs to be thought of, drawn out, and ran over in our heads. And I would just go and get to the field house or the locker room, whether it be away or home, and just kind of take our time. Everybody's got individual pregame that they like to do. Some guys just kind of go off on their own, listen to music. Other guys get together, laugh and kind of zone in and dance. And like I said, Josh Burnham's the name that I said earlier. He's a dancer on the team.
Are you a dancer?
No, not at all. Not at all. 2 left feet. But no, and it's just it's a very intense atmosphere in a locker room right before you walk out. We go out and we'll hit a little bit, hit each other, run some plays against each other, just finalize our minds and our bodies, and just kind of just get ready for everything. And it's such an intense feeling. You walk out and you're in that helmet right before the fireworks go and the cannons pop, and everybody's cheering, and guys beside you are all focused and just moving around and flowing, and you can just feel it. It's a feeling like no other, and it'll give you goosebumps.
Oh yeah. And that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem.
And good luck this weekend against Idaho. I know you guys are going to do great.
All right, thank you.
And thank you for joining us as well. This is all the time we have for Trojan Sports Now this week. Be sure to stay tuned to Troy Trojan Vision News and Trojan Sports Now for more Trojan Sports. Thanks for tuning in.